No, Chris is the fucking man. No, he's great. He's actually addressing what all of the other white foreigners are doing in Japan and the misinformation that they are contributing to. He nailed it in the first half, though. It is because of like the accelerated monetization of rage bait, clickbait. Unfortunately, people want that slop. We're all pigs at the trough. The slop-averse is expanding at an alarming rate every day. Chinese century of prosperity, baby. This man ran 2 central banks law. I know. Listen. China forging allegiances. Canada's Carney visits age of the forged new allegiances to reduce U.S. dependence. China is undeniably surpassing the United States on the global stage in global commerce. It has rebuffed America and rewritten the norms of global commerce. China trying to build an economic cooperation bloc with Asian countries that unifies their currency potentially. Now, I don't know how valid that last one is because that sounds nutty. But if America's fuck behavior could, paired up with obviously Chinese prosperity, Chinese manufacturing becoming this irreplaceable thing, if those two things combined could unite China, Korea, and Japan, I don't know what to say. Like, these are historic ops, okay? These are historic ops. If America can unite those 3 countries, generational ops going, let bygones be bygone. We got a pan-Asian. We have a pan-Asian movement that we're cooking up. Time to put the guns down. I don't know what the world would look like. Now, of course, it's very unlikely considering how much the current... Well, you know what? No. I don't know, man. The new prime minister of Japan is ultra-nationalist, ultra-conservative. Yeah, except do you know who the biggest dick riders of China are in Japan? It's the LDP. There are the dick riders. Who do you think has all the businessmen that have major contracts with the Chinese government? So yeah, Japan, like the Japanese population obviously has a lot of disdain for the Chinese, even though it's crazy. It's like if Germans still aggressively hated all Jews. Like, Japanese people hating Chinese has always rubbed me the wrong way. Because, like, I understand why the Chinese hate the Japanese. They were the victims. Why the f*** do the Japanese still harbor resentment for the Chinese and the Korean? It blows my mind. It's like, bro, you dominated them. You did the Holocaust to them, but like Asian style. It makes no sense that they have no like sense of shame whatsoever for it. Like, no reflection on those actions and just pure hatred. That's why I always laugh at these like white guys that LARP as though they are Japanese, but they like live in England and stuff. And they're constantly posting about like how the Japanese are so xenophobic. They're finally putting their foot down and saying Japan for the Japanese. And they talk about these things, right? And they don't realize like Japanese people have more smoke for people that they suspect as being secretly Korean or secretly Chinese than they do for like Indian migrants, okay? Like they constantly talk about like, oh, the Japanese hate the Kurds. The Kurds are coming here. And I often see that channeled by white expats that live in Japan. Well, not all of them, you know. Shouts out to Chris Broad. He actually made a video about this issue right now. The misinformation coming out of Japan is out of control. But it's always the dumbass white immigrants that went to Japan that chirp about how all these other immigrants are ruining it for us. It's like, no, man, in the eyes of the Japanese, you guys are all the same. Okay? Japanese people broadly look at all immigrants the same way, except for 2 categories that they despise at a higher level: Chinese and Koreans. Okay? White, Indian, black, it doesn't matter. You're all foreigners. Okay, you're all foreigners. You got the smoke too. Okay, there is no like, oh well, these guys are white foreigners. That's good. No, that doesn't exist. But if there is one higher priority of hatred for a specific class of foreigner in Japan, it is not for the Kurdish migrants that are a tiny minority. It is not for the Indian migrant workers that happen to work at all the 7-Elevens and the Family Marts that are that's now becoming the norm everywhere because like the Japanese labor force is entirely too old. Okay, it is specifically for who they perceive as being secretly Chinese or secretly Korean. But you're right, it's Chinese and Korean, and now they're getting butthurt about Kurds due to woke. Oh. Yeah, we should do the Chris Broad video, honestly. People now starting to hate the Kurds more. I swear to God, that's a byproduct of Twitter. I swear to God, the Kurdish immigration is out of control shit is literally just like, I think it's white Westerners that are bricking, it's bricking the brains of the Japanese xenophobes. It is true, but it is Japanese Twitter. No, I know. We are exporting. It's the same shit that I asked the Japanese Communist Party when I was there, if you remember, about like transphobia and shit. Like, Japan has a very different attitude about a lot of the social stuff that we constantly harp on and on about, okay? But we are importing our brain rot to every other country, including Japan. Japanese people also use Twitter, okay? You have to remember that. Japanese people use Twitter at a much higher percentage than the American population does. There is a higher percentage of Japanese people on Twitter adjusted to the entire population. Like more Japanese per capita use Twitter than Americans do. Americans are at like 20%. I don't know what the Japanese percentage is, but it's higher. So obviously that's going to have an impact as well. MAGA is blowing the up all around the country, and it's even made its way to Asian countries. It is crazy. And it's not just MAGA, it's just fascism, but like MAGA style fascism. You have no idea how much smoke Japanese people have for Brazilian Japanese immigrants that are descendants of the Japanese immigrants that waved to Brazil in the early 20th century. Yeah, that's the other thing. A lot of people don't know this, but I think the second highest population of Japanese background around the world outside of Japan is Brazil. Yeah. People don't know that. I mean, I'm saying like the second highest after Japan. There are more Japanese Brazilians than there are Japanese Americans. NHK's Newswatch aired a segment today about a post on Twitter encouraging hatred towards Kurdish residents of Kawaguchi. It included analysis of a fake photo showing Kurds holding a Japanese "Get out of Kawaguchi" sign. Look, it's always random Westerners like anything to get these idiots out of Japan. They don't deserve to be here. They live in the other hemisphere of the world. Don't worry, my man. Brother, we are more interconnected right now than ever before. Yeah, the Great Firewall once again vindicated, low key. Anyway, here's Chris Broad's video on this.
Started receiving messages from people asking me if Japan is okay, linking a rather ominous sounding video called "What is Happening to Japan?" It wasn't just the title and thumbnail that were ominous, but the description reading, "Is Japan cooked? I've seen a lot of changes and things seem to be getting worse." In an era where I'm now being...
It's so funny because it's white Westerners that move to Japan that are on the receiving end of racism or xenophobia, at least, by the Japanese, turning around and being like, oh, you know what's really up about Japan? All the other migrants. It's so insane, bro. What are you doing? You moved to one of the most xenophobic countries on the planet, okay? And then you decided to export your version of racism and xenophobia to the country. And it's this endless cycle of human centipede eating shit where the white racist guys go, oh my God, I went to Japan because I thought it was going to be this big, beautiful utopia comprised entirely of the Japanese that I can lord over like I'm Tom Cruise in The Last Samurai or some shit. But now there's Indians here. And then they constantly chirp about it. And then Japanese people see the chirping and the right-wing Japanese go, oh shit, Maybe actually we hate the Koreans and the Chinese, but maybe these guys are right too. We hate all of them, actually. You're right. But honestly, it's not, it's still like, from what I have seen, at least from what I've read, what I've seen from the people that I've talked to, it's still mostly hatred towards all foreigners in general, including the white guys, for the record, while also simultaneously offering additional smoke for the Korean and the Chinese. And the Filipinos too, I guess.
Daily AI videos and photos that sorely misrepresent Japan from bizarre and questionable accounts. It made an almost refreshing change to be sent something produced by a human being.
How do you know about Japanese Twitter usage? What do you mean, brother? I'm a massive weeb. And also, I love visiting Tokyo. Like, I am, you know, I mean, I think I'm going to be a Cinnaboo rather than a Weibo going forward. For the longest time in my life, I was a Marabou. Then I became a weeb. And I probably, in the aftermath of this Chinese trip, will become a major cinephile, a Cinnaboo.
And more crucially, a creator who is one of the biggest foreign content creators living in Japan, with 1.4 million subscribers on YouTube alone and hundreds of thousands more across other social media platforms. In fact, the same video had been chopped up into half a dozen videos without dialogue and shared on Instagram and TikTok.
I'm a Mexican living in Japan? What the What the Bro, that is polar bear in Arlington, Texas territory. How the did you find yourself all the way out there, my man? There's like 8 of you in Japan total, okay? When I found out that there was like Kurdish migration into Japan, I was shocked. But that's crazy. I have friends and family here. La Raza is everywhere. Goku Sanchez. There are a ton of Mexicans here. I have not seen it. Okay? As a matter of fact, when we were visiting, it's a meme to try to get March to eat Guzman y Gomez. I saw a taco truck in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia this summer. What the? Going to a Peru Fest this weekend in Shibuya. Not all Mexicans open restaurants. Yeah, but if there's a decent number of Mexicans, you got to have some decent Mexican food. Like, that's normal. It's not just entirely about Mexicans at that point. It's just any migrant population. If they get to a certain size, there's going to be restaurants, there's going to be grocery stores that have some better food, you know? I had the worst burrito of my life in Seoul. I found a burrito place in Almaty, Kazakhstan like a decade ago. It was pretty decent, actually. Mexican food truck is the best. Mexican food is in my kitchen. Anyway, let's continue.
Amassing over 3 million views in just a matter of days. Now, I was especially concerned, not just as somebody living in Japan or Tokyo, but actually this street where the thumbnail's taken is somewhere I walk down once or twice a week in Nakameguro. One of my favourite coffee shops is just around the corner, and in fact, this video I made earlier in the year was filmed on the same street, albeit at a different angle, not showing the abandoned house. And not to mention, I've actually been living in the neighbourhood myself for the last 3 years. And when I went to take the thumbnail for my video, I quickly noticed a few interesting differences between my original ungraded photos and the thumbnail of her video. It is a rather fascinating game of spot the difference. So naturally I was a bit concerned to find out what is happening to Japan, especially as over 3 million people had seen this message. For half of the runtime of the video, the creator in question walks through Kabukicho in Shinjuku, Japan's biggest nightlife district, with a reputation for being dirty and gritty, filming bin bags, litter, and homeless people. In the short form content, the same videos show the litter being intercut at times with foreign tourists, who are queuing unremarkably to take a photo of the Toho Godzilla statue. Although the angle of the statue...
Bro, what is with white people? They have to, wherever they go, they have to do Tyler Oliveira style videos, I think. Like, is that just like a epigenetic thing? Like, what the f*** is going on? Everywhere you go, you got to be like, listen, this place is racist, but not racist enough for my taste, okay? Because, like, complaining about foreigners in Japan as a foreigner is the most insane thing I can think of. Brother, you're the foreigner. Like, what are you talking about? They're like, hey, these guys are pretty racist, pretty xenophobic, but honestly, they could go harder.
Actually was left out of the footage. And it's at this point I need to reiterate, if you don't know Japan, Kabukicho or Shinjuku can be a bit of a shock. It's the equivalent of walking through downtown LA or Soho in London. And in recent years, it's been gentrified more.
It absolutely is not the equivalent. Okay? No. The worst place, like the worst places I've been to these places, I think it does not even hold a candle in terms of cleanliness to the average American city. Okay? The average American city is far worse and in a state of utter disarray. Bro, when's the last time you were in downtown LA? I don't know, like last week? What are you talking about? And I've been to Paris, different arrondissements. And also, I've been all around London too.
Than perhaps anywhere in Tokyo. It used to be genuinely quite dangerous. I remember 10 years ago, I made a hotel reservation there and had to cancel it after there was a Yakuza shootout quite literally across the road from the hotel. The area is also synonymous with Tokyo's homeless population as far back as 2003, when the film Tokyo Godfathers shone a spotlight on the long-standing homeless population, which, according to the statistics, is thankfully going down. And if you walk around there today, compared to 10 years ago, there are far less homeless people. But crucially, Kabukicho and Shinjuku doesn't represent Tokyo, it doesn't represent Japan, but if you wanted to make Japan look cooked, it would be the first place you would go, pull out your camera and hit record. The other half of the runtime in these videos was dedicated to Nakameguro, a trendy district that's historically one of Tokyo's most artistic neighbourhoods, and with a recent history of graffiti, both artistic and just tagging, where people just spray paint their name. A few years ago, I think it was 2019, there was quite a lot of graffiti, and the local schools got together to paint over it, and then the graffiti came back again. But when Japanese TV made a video on it, interviewing locals...
This dude seems like a doucher, is just me? No, Chris is the man. No, Chris is the man. No. He's actually addressing what Chris has been living in Japan for a very long time at this point. I like Chris a lot. He's just British. That's why you guys automatically have a built-in distaste, like pre-baked distaste. No, he's great. He's actually addressing what all of the other white foreigners are doing in Japan and the misinformation that they are contributing to. Nah, man, he's American troops in Japan Glizzard. Yeah, of course. What did I tell you guys, man? Our position on this, our position on American imperialism is not commonly shared by everyone, okay? You should remind yourself that more frequently and be excited when you meet someone who actually shares that position. At least that's the attitude that I hold, where I'm like, no one is going to agree with me on this, but when I find someone who does, I'm like, oh my God, I cherish you. If you want to link up with like-minded people in a foreign land, go to Ireland, okay? There are very few places on the planet, especially in Western Europe, that are going to share your commitment to anti-imperialism and have a pre-built understanding of colonial or imperial domination.
Interestingly, they didn't intercut it with shots of Asia's biggest nightlife district and call it What is Happening to Japan. They called it Residents Express Discomfort at 37 graffiti sites found around Nakameguro Station. And maybe that's why, despite having twice the number of subscribers, they only got 100,000 views, instead of almost 500,000. Silly traditional media attempting to present news in an objective manner in 2025. And so at this point you might be thinking, okay, right, so what's happened to Japan? What happened next? Lean in. Come closer. Come over. That was it.
Why does the alt-right love Japan so much? Weird stuff around age of consent, fascist history, fascist adjacent contemporary politics, unlimited xenophobia, fetishization.
That was literally it. In a country of 120 million...
Also, alleged ethno-state? No, it is an ethno-state. No, Japan is, like, I think it's appropriate to call Japan an ethno-state. The difference between, like, Japan and other formations, I would say, is that Japan did its indigenous ethnic cleansing a very long time ago. Japan is probably one of the best examples of the dangers of, or the suicidal nature of maintaining an ethno state. They will literally age out of existence at this point in order to maintain their racial purity.
People. They were all cooked because of some bin bags in a red light district and some spray paint on a wall down 6 or 7 streets in the capital city. And while the YouTube video was 15 long, stupid minutes I'll never get back, it was the short form content that really concerned me. We live in a scary time when more people now than ever before learn things about countries and cultures from 30 to 60-second videos without context, and where the more sensationalist the videos are, the more you will be rewarded for it. People are angry, both in Japan and around the world at the moment, and this video, or these videos, seem to be exceptional rage bait that made a lot of people angry. Without any exposition on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, they showed a series of awful images in a densely populated area, and if you look at the comment sections, particularly on those shorts,
Graffiti writing on the walls, American African influence. I didn't know that Japan is diversity. Thanks, foreigners. Ruin it for everyone else who love to go to Japan. They treat foreigners as a collective. I've been through something like this about 20 years ago. Bro, is this... Yo. Are white people unlocking the same consciousness that, like, migrants who kick the ladder down have? Is this the same attitude as, like, when you got, like a Mexican ICE agent? They're like, oh, we are the good kind of migrants. If it only wasn't for the bad kind of migrants. It's like, bro, they don't make that distinction, okay? You're not a part of the in-group, okay? What the f? If anything, as far as like tourists goes, I would go so far as to say American tourists are the absolute worst, myself included.
you will see the most vile, hateful, angry comments that you can find. A creator isn't responsible for what people comment on their content, but subtle choices, the way the images and clips are cut and edited together, with the message that goes with it, can have a very powerful effect. As somebody who's edited over 300 videos, I'm more aware of that than anyone. The most unsettling thing is it's never been easier to monetize sensationalist slop content. And if you do it, you'll be richly rewarded for it. Case in point, this video, the creator pointed out, made $1,500, which is a seriously impressive amount of money for going around filming some bin bags and some spray paint in a video that would have taken a matter of hours to record. And this is one of the things that worries me the most, the monetization of slop sensationalist content. That's one thing I want to discuss a little bit later on. It's at this point I thought, look, just don't say anything. Bite your tongue, move on. But when I saw millions...
Oh, true. Israeli tourists. I guess, like, a lot of people are saying, no, you don't understand, it's British tourists. And some might even say, no, it's Australians. Or some say, no, it's Israelis. And I've realized that the mother of all evil is still England. We are all still, in some way, descendants of that. Oh, my God. Whether it be Israel or America or Australia, these are still very much British crimes upon the world. How crazy. All roads lead back to Rome. All roads lead back to England. Ironically enough, also, I guess you could say the Roman Empire also was, at a certain point, leading back to England too.
Upon millions of views, people angry, a current backdrop of sensationalist slop content taking over, and a rise in anti-foreign sentiment here in Japan, I snapped. I had to say something. I chose to bring attention to it publicly. And I quickly received 2 replies. The first was from a guy who posted a photo of some graffiti he saw in 1993, pointing out graffiti has always been around in Tokyo. And the other comment was from the content creator herself, who told me to take it down. This was now a creator on creator matter, and they were just a humble creator with a GoPro, somehow conveniently forgetting they were one of the biggest foreign content creators in Japan. Now, I think if you are a large content creator, both literally and metaphorically, you should be willing to accept a degree of scrutiny. I know I do. Every time I release a video, people attack me for various things. And if I see something that I believe misconstrues reality, then I'm going to call it out as well. Impressively, no less than 6 hours later, she'd shot, edited, and released an entire video about what she'd called an attack, calling me a gatekeeper. I was accused of painting Japan as a utopia. I was accused of excluding her from my friendship group, somebody I've never met, never spoken to. I was accused of being grumpy, maybe because her viewers had claimed that she was more attractive than me and less grumpy. And no, I'm not making this up. This is actually a real video. And finally, I was called the C word, just to add the cherry on top. It is, ironically, one of the most bizarre...
Cracker?
Personal, rambling attacks that I've ever had. And I think it is really pointless. It degrades any sort of debate or conversation. And it's the least important thing that I want to talk about.
Wait, what did he say? I only show the intriguing claims. I only show the romanticized side of Japan. Her What is Happening in Japan video allegedly took 2 years of research. I've had a personal issue with the content creator for 5 years.
It degrades any sort of debate or conversation. And it's the least important.
Wait, he called him Chinese? It's not Chris Broad, it's Chinese Broad.
Thing that I want to talk about today. And for some clarity, I really don't dislike this person. I dislike their content, not just this video, but some other videos, which I'll discuss. I know I can be sarcastic and silly, but I'm genuinely not a malicious person. I quite honestly wish her well. And I ask you, if you disagree with her, if you disagree with me, that you always comment in a respectful manner and don't share any hatred online. There's already enough of that going around. And I'm making this video for 2 reasons. Number one, there are much bigger issues in play here around content creation, around Japan, and I want to discuss those. And second of all, some people see it as me bullying another creator because they don't understand why I would bring this up. And honestly, I don't do this sort of thing lightly.
I hate to break it to you, Christopher. Everyone's a hog now. That's it. He nailed it in the first half, though. It is because of like the accelerated monetization of rage bait, clickbait. People are hog maxing. It is going to get to a point where it will be a rare breed that you have people who go, I don't think this is the case. I think you're just behaving in a kind of evil way. Unfortunately, people want that slop. We're all pigs at the trough. Liberal mind cannot fathom hogification. No, straight up. Straight up. The slopiverse is expanding at an alarming rate every day. And it's all over. It's all over. It's everywhere. Stupid people want the slop. They want the rage bait that corresponds to their own personal biases that they've developed here. They want to see it everywhere else. They're like, oh, I hate Indian and African immigrants, and I'm sure they're up everything in Japan too, just like they are here.
Only time I think I've ever called out a creator was Mr. Beast last year when he partnered with Logan Paul, a man who did awful things in Japan, which I had to discuss publicly on Japanese national television. I didn't enjoy making that video or the attention or scrutiny it brought me. I hate myself sometimes, that I can't keep my mouth shut on certain things. But when you feel something is profoundly wrong in here, you have to talk about it. I've held my tongue previously on other content that this creator has produced. A few years ago, a friend showed me a clip of a video in which the same person walked through an economically deprived part of Tokyo filming homeless people.
Oh my gosh, this is a rough area.
Under the guise of showing the real Japan, filming the most vulnerable people in society and posting it online. Like, I've had Japanese friends tell me this sort of stuff.
That could have been done in such a tasteful way and in such in a much more humanizing fashion. This is actually hilarious. 4 years ago, she was in China making pro-China content before it was cool. Now she's in Japan making anti-China content when China is on the come up. She's got the worst timing, Lamau. Wait, what? Oh my God. You should know her. Her name is Oriental Pearl. Oriental Pearl? What the I mean...
So JJ, how much money is the Chinese government paying you to do these pro-China videos?
This is not in any way, shape, or form sponsored by the Chinese government.
You would say that.
Because if I were a spy, I certainly wouldn't be gallivanting all over the internet. That's like the last thing I would do if I was a spy.
That's exactly what a spy would say. The best way to hide is to be completely visible.
And it's like,
you don't want the heat, Hasan? I mean, I'm pro-China, so I don't give a shit. So what's up? What happened? Like she lived in China and she was pro-China, but now she lives in Japan and she's anti-China? Well, how did this happen? You seen this shit, Edward Said? Yeah. Orientalism is found new waves that you could fill a new book with. She Catholic, married a Japanese student.
Makes them feel uncomfortable. Beyond that, it sort of portrays Japan as this magical place where there's a barrier between us, where if you speak Japanese, they will bounce around, they will scream and shout, it will cure depression, as if the entire country is one big social experiment waiting to be exploited. And I worry in an era...
Okay, yeah, she is. I feel like it's the audacity of some folks to go to a whole ass different country and treat the local population of said country like they're like their own pet things is crazy. Like, what is happening, bro? Look, I'm not like a epigenetic memories unlocked type of dude, but you got to have a little bit of a colonist in you to feel like this is appropriate. Like, this is crazy. Is crazy. You're just like shamelessly going into a whole ass different country and then being like, this should be all different. Okay. And also the local population are my dogs. What the
of nuisance content creators coming to Japan doing things that are unspeakably bad. They might see this sort of content and go, wow, you get $1,500 for that. Maybe start to wave cameras around in the faces of homeless people, potentially leading to even more nuisance content. And when the cost of making such content is nothing, but the profits are extraordinary, the only real thing stopping you from doing that is morals. And as we've seen time and again with streamers in Japan, morals are often in short supply. And coupled with the fact there's rising anti-foreign sentiment in Japan, it makes me concerned and uncomfortable. So what are the real issues facing Japan? What is happening to Japan? In the last few weeks, I've been travelling around the country, filming videos. I've been to Sendai, Nagano, Nagoya, Gifu, Okinawa, and spending time with the locals out there, talking with them, hearing their concerns. I can assure you, none of them care about a bin bag in Shinjuku or some spray paint on a wall in Nakameguro. The two most notable things are depopulation and a cost of living crisis. And funnily enough,
this was my experience as well, talking to the Japanese Communist Party about some of the major hurdles that the Japanese society is broadly facing.
while this stuff was happening, I was on an island in Okinawa interviewing the locals on how depopulation has affected their island, where once there were hundreds of people, today there are 50, and this has obviously affected island life. And quite honestly, I would much rather be editing that video than talking about this. But it will take me weeks to edit that video and do the islanders' story justice. And this takes me to the real crux of the matter, the thing that worries me the most. In the same time that it will take to produce this video, I could go out and film 50 of these videos, make a lot more money with a lot less effort. It is increasingly hard to compete when you're producing videos to a higher standard, when you have to fact check everything. The creator of this video claimed it took 50 hours to produce this video, a claim I find to be, quite frankly, baffling. I'm not sure where the 50 hours went. And you might think, well, he does sound kind of jealous now. Maybe she's right. Maybe he's just not getting the views. And I say far from it. I could go out and make this content in one afternoon in Tokyo. What I'm saying is social media platforms don't care. They don't reward accuracy. They don't reward nuance or objective reason. They reward clicks, they reward attention, they reward sensationalism. Journalistic integrity really doesn't count for much online, unfortunately, to an almost dystopian degree. Some criticisms levelled at me is that I also make sensationalist content and that I only show the nice side of Japan, the squeaky clean, rose-tinted spectacle version of the country. And to that I would say there's a big difference between sensationalist content and clickbait titles and thumbnails. I hate having to pull a stupid face. I hate my thumbnails and titles. But it is simply a matter of survival on an increasingly crowded platform that doesn't share your content unless it has a high click-through rate. And I try to make up for the stupid faces and titles by delivering content that does the subject matter justice. And the claim that
is there a way to stop the slop? No. I don't think so. If I knew if there was a way to stop the slop, I mean, I guess it's about the algorithms. Like, the algorithms favor the slop, but the slop or the algorithms are dictated by what people want to consume. So there's not really a lot that you can do about it. Like, what are you supposed to do? The algorithms are like, oh, this is what people are tuning into. And if people are getting dumber and dumber and demand more of this dumb shit, then the algorithm rewards the dumb shit. And the more people consume dumb shit, the dumber they get.
show only the over-romanticized utopian version of Japan is simply ridiculous. Does this look romanticized?
No, that's not true though. YouTube's algo is entirely forced. No, that's also not true. No, YouTube's algorithm knows, like YouTube algorithm drivers know that right-wing content drives clicks and time on the website. Okay? That's the reason why they bias it in the right-wing direction for money. But that still means that there is a genuine interest. There is a genuine interest in watching the right-wing shit, the right-wing slop. It's true. People want bottom of the barrel, like thoughtless content for the most part. Slop is all king. This drama is extreme right versus centrist. I mean, not even. It's just like, I mean, I guess, but.
Is this a utopia? Does that look romanticized? Is this a utopia? But do I walk through economically deprived parts of Tokyo and also no, I don't. And I'm sorry if that is the only definition of showing the dark side of Japan that you have. I cover the matters that I genuinely believe are affecting Japan the most. And in fact, I've been speaking with a homeless shelter about doing a documentary, but it's a serious topic and these are people's lives and I need to...
Did we just F a little bit? Is my internet going out again? What's going on, dude? Uh-oh. We're experiencing a mini outage. Uh-oh. It's turning into a major outage potentially. Hold on now. Hold on to your butts, everybody. A little bit of F-maxing. What the hell is going on? Classic. Hold on. It might get fixed. Of course, yours F, brother. Other content creators ain't effing. Yeah, it's going to be a big delay now. I'm going to fix it 1 second. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix the ingest, okay? Let's test the delay. Let's test the delay. Everybody, if you hear me say subscribe, just subscribe, okay? You can do it for free with the Twitch Prime. Test the delay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, this delay is so crazy. Okay, this is a crazy delay. It's like 15 seconds. All right, I'm going to... Yeah, I didn't want to wait. It was cooked. It was cooked, chat. The delay was severe. So I had to F it real quick. All right, it should be fine now, hopefully. All right, let's get back into it.
Tackle that carefully. If you want to watch something about Japan's popular, I'm from has made a fantastic documentary series on the subject. I would urge you to go and watch them. I will say, I felt sort of disheartened this year.
Wait, what the... What is happening, bro? I don't think this is... No, it's not playing the video that's cooking it, dude. I think it's...
In general, about so many things, about the state of the world. And this is sort of to the side of this issue. As you may know, I've been living here over a decade now, about 13 years, and I've been extremely lucky to be here. And I've always tried to show Japan in a fair and balanced way, particularly more rural areas that I love, which I've been lucky to call home. And more I'm seeing comments and discourse online that I'm just a foreign guy living in Japan. I don't understand the culture. I'm a foreign guy exploiting Japan. And I've had that claim thrown at me more in the last 12 months than in the last 12 years combined. To the point, it has sort of sucked the energy out of me a bit and made me wonder, what am I doing? Does what I do matter anymore? No matter how many documentaries I make, no matter what I shine a spotlight on, no matter who I meet or what I do, just a foreign guy exploiting Japan. And I felt lost about what am I doing here? I was far happier as a smaller creator without the burden of expectations, without people overanalyzing everything I said or did. And to be frank, the only thing that keeps me doing this is knowing I'm very lucky to have an amazing audience of people. I know you're not just numbers on a view count. You're actually real people, and I'm very grateful I've got to meet so many of you. I sort of need to know.
Can you relate? Yes, I can relate. It is unfortunately part and parcel with like being a large content creator of any sort. Like if you exist as a successful or large content creator, no matter which niche you're filling, you don't have to be a political commentator at all. Like anything, you could be doing anything. You could be doing videos like Chris does about how wonderful Japan is and the things that Japanese people care about, whatever, right? No matter what happens, there's always going to be waves and waves of just like haters over over a long enough timeline. Like, boo-hoo, stop abusing your dog and stop whining. Again, this is literally what I mean. Thank you for proving my point for me. So it's just, I mean, we're all profoundly privileged, obviously, as in comparison to like other real celebrities. Obviously, we're in a different position because like we're much more accessible, and it is what it is. And I think it's getting worse overall because I think the internet's getting meaner, right? Like we're becoming more mean on the internet. And Twitter take over Elon Musk and things of that nature definitely don't help.
If you're watching.
My IRL toolkit's getting spammed, I think. I think they're targeting my IRL toolkit. It's not, I don't think it's my internet. Yesterday, it was my internet. Yesterday, my internet went out. Today, I think people are spamming the IRL toolkit. I think they're DDoSing the third-party software that I use. Because yesterday, my internet went out. Okay, and in an effort to create a redundancy, I went back to using, or was it yesterday? I think, yeah. Yesterday, my internet went out. And so in order to avoid that, in order to avoid that, and I went back to fixing the redundancy problem by using IRL Toolkit, which is what a lot of top content creators also use when they're live streaming and stuff like that. And I think it's just like that's what's getting targeted again. I don't know if other big streamers are also experiencing this. It could very well be. I mean, it says that all systems operational at 100%. So, and I don't know who they is necessarily. I'm just saying that like it happens. Oliver Gia says, you got to understand that YouTubers like Oriental Pearl feed off of attention and drama. They fully know what they're doing is dishonest, but they don't care. If it gets them views, they've won. Wait, did this guy block me? Kyoto-based American writer. Foreign perspective. Wait, what the I have no idea who the this guy is. Why the hell did he block me? Japan specifically is the trending thing that people are milking dry. It honestly would have been very easy for me to use my position to push an agenda to make a lot of money off of it. I haven't though, because I value my integrity and don't have any interest in being a grifter. Also, drama in the J vlogging community is nothing new. It existed for nearly 20 years. He's annoying as hell. It's good that he blocked you. Oh, he's anti-China. Gia is a pro-Taiwan, anti-China Twitter celebrity. Oh, that makes sense. Another reason why I never did YouTube, I hate that environment. I've mostly washed my hands of it all. I try to use my platform to share more reasonable perspectives on Japan, but it's a losing battle. The internet prefers LARPing and YouTube drama, so I don't have much of a place in that. Ultimately, doesn't affect my own life anyway.
Over the past few years, Japan has become the hottest new tourist destination. With the yen at all-time lows and everything so cheap over there, tourist numbers are breaking record highs every month. And nobody's more angry about this than Japanese people. People are skeptical of the increasing number of tourists and immigrants everywhere, and one of Japan's most despised clowns has exploited this sentiment to turn himself into a celebrity, the face of the anti-tourist movement. His name, Hezuma Ryu. He's famous for screaming and threatening people in public, basically like a Japanese Johnny Somali.
What's really funny about that is that also Japanese people broadly hate that shit too. The reason why a lot of Japanese people get annoyed at tourists is because tourists do this shit to them, and this guy's doing it himself. He's like, no, I'm gonna do the shit that everybody hates tourists doing, but Japanese style.
A convicted criminal himself, he will do absolutely anything to try to get famous. I mean, in 2020, he live streamed himself going around purposefully infecting people. And that's not even in the top 5 worst things you'll see him do in this video. But now
he got elected. He's in the National Assembly now. Wait, is he from the Sansaido party, or is that's the one, right? Sansaido, the anti-migrant one. Is that the ticket that he won on? The Trump effect, and it's not a joke. No, 100%. All right.
He's a well-respected elected official with a massive following. He completely reformed his image, all by wandering around the Nara Deer Park every day and screaming at the Chinese tourists who come to feed the deer. But how did we get here? Well, blaming foreigners for everything and wanting to kick them out of the country has always been a part of Japanese nationalism, but right now it's on the rise again under a new name, Japan First. The first Japan First party was...
Dude, isn't that nuts?
Started by this guy, Sakurai Makoto, in 2016, and as you can tell, he's a very charismatic man. His entire platform was hating Korea and blaming everything wrong in society on Koreans in Japan. And when someone called him
out... I told you. The smoke that they have, first and foremost, xenophobia is across the board. But the smoke that they have primarily is for Koreans and the Chinese, bro, is crazy.
But on his bullshit, what did he do? Yeah, he just accused them of being Korean. Yeah, being Korean in Japan has always been hard, and I'm just talking about recent history, not like anything before 1945. To this day, anytime anything bad happens, you'll immediately see people online speculating that the culprit must have been a Korean. Like, I get...
Yeah, that's why, like, when I covered Shinzo Abe's assassination, I brought this up. But like the reason why it was the most successful political assassination in modern times was literally not because Shinzo Abe was like a reviled figure or something. Like he wasn't super popular, sure. But in the aftermath of his death, society should have gotten together and been like, this is really f***ed up. I can't believe it. But instead, they abided by the wishes or the demands that the shooter was trying to bring awareness to. And the only reason why was because it was, albeit a reasonable complaint that the shooter had, which was about the unified church, right? The Korean church, and how much the shooter's mother, just like many other Japanese people, had actually donated to this Korean church.
Japanese YouTube comments informing me that some of the most embarrassing people I've covered are actually secretly Korean. Yeah, it's basically to the point where the 3 worst things you can be called on the Japanese internet
Isn't it a cult? Yes, but there's a lot of cults in Japan. Keep in mind, Japan is 99% Japanese. They have 1% immigrant population. Japan blaming foreigners for their problems is literally insane. Brother, Japan is so Japanese that they literally... Well, first of all, they do have Korean Japanese people, right? Like Japanese people of Korean descent. What is it called again? I forget. But there's that. But there is that. But also, no, not like Zainichi, the Zainichi Koreans. Okay, so you have that, but then also you have. Is it a slur? I didn't know that. Okay, well, but then there is a suspicion of people that suspect people of being secretly Korean.
And Chinese. And that last one is big. Right now, anti-Chinese content is doing numbers on the Japanese internet. The most popular genre is Chinese tourist abusing deer videos. If that makes you go, huh? I should explain. There's this park in a city called Nara where there are hundreds of wild deer that you can pet and feed, and right now it's filled with tourists, even more than usual, mainly Chinese. But yeah, this video has a girl labeled Stupid Chinese who's apparently kicking a deer in the head. Now, who would do that? Who would kick a deer? Wait, she didn't kick the deer. She didn't make contact. These are 2 different pictures. Yeah, this YouTuber just did a lazy Photoshop job to make it look like the Chinese girl was kicking the deer when she wasn't. This is the most popular video in the genre with 2 million views, and I didn't see a single comment calling this out. Okay, now this is where Hezumaryu comes in. Hezuma was a
Yeah, secret Chinese or secret Korean is a common plot point in the Yakuza games. And the reason why it's a common plot point in the Yakuza games is because it's a common plot point in Japanese life. They didn't invent the theme.
serious menace to society. He was probably the most hated guy in Japan, famous for getting an 18-month prison sentence for shoplifting after posting a video of himself eating raw fish in the supermarket before paying for it. But now, he had a new purpose in life. He moved across the country, all the way to Nara, to become a deer protector. His plan was simple: patrol the park every single day and stop the Chinese tourists from abusing the deer. Before we go any further, I want to say there is no animal abuse shown in this video, and I didn't think it needed to be said, but I am against all forms of racism. Anyways, here is his first big scoop. He's caught a Chinese tourist red-handed, or should I say red-footed, kicking a deer like a soccer ball. And when he says that, this is what he means? A guy doing shake-a-paw with a deer?
動物いじめ楽しいんか。おい。どうしたじゃなくて、鹿の足蹴っとったやろ。鹿の足蹴っとったやろ。言い訳するんか。蹴っとったよな。おい。蹴っとったよな。帰れ。調子乗んな。警察呼ぶか。警察呼ぶか。じゃあこいつが捕まるぞ。鹿の足蹴っとったぞ。こいつが鹿の足を蹴っとったぞ。警察呼ぶんやったらこいつが捕まるぞ。警察呼ぶんやったらこいつが捕まるぞ。あ？怖いよ今。怖いよじゃねえっちょお前。おい、お前が帰れ。鹿の足を蹴んな。なめるな。
The guy apologized to Hezuma 11 times, and honestly, the deer didn't even seem phased in the first place. He was hard chillin'. But anyways, these videos are very well received. The majority of Japanese commenters agree with Hezuma, and they all use this to say Chinese people should be kicked out of Japan. So yeah, what Hezuma does is look for any tourist interaction with a deer that looks bad and uses it as an example to scream at them. And believe me, he's just getting started. Here, Hezuma claims this woman hit a deer with a water bottle. The only problem is, I don't even know if she makes contact with the deer, and if she does, she's just giving it a little boop on the snoot. Yo, who put that in the script? The guy feels threatened by Hezuma, so he calls the cops. The police arrive, and they immediately see through Hezuma's lies. They order him to apologize and delete his footage. Instead, he uploads the footage online, which resulted in the Chinese couple suing him for defamation. Yeah, he eventually had to delete the video, but Hezuma's plan was working.
It's so crazy because the Japanese do not f around with defamation. He could have literally he could have been saying the truth and you could still be successfully sued for defamation in Japan. Japanese defamation rules are out of control. They are crazy, brother. I think it's a little ridiculous. Like the way the Japanese rules are around defamation is, if someone is a pedophile and you correctly call them a pedophile, you can still be successfully sued for correctly calling them a pedophile. Defending Hezuma? No, I'm not defending him. I'm just talking about something I find to be rather strange. And yes, what I'm describing about the pedophilia thing has happened. It's not even a joke. That has literally happened. Because everywhere else around the world, pretty much, the greatest defense against defamation is the truth, right? Nope, not in Japan.
He was getting a lot of attention, and he knew just how angry people could get when it came to deer. He remembered this incident from 2020 where someone bragged about doing something absolutely vile to a deer. Seriously, what kind of psychopath would do this? Oh, it was Hezuma himself. Yeah, before he became the deer protector, Hezuma was known for being the deer terrorizer. Hezuma knew exactly how to piss people off, and it always involved the Mentos Coke challenge.
Dude, when I see stuff like this, Why are you even watching this? You don't know anything about bad faith actors taking a video of benign actions with dogs and using them to spin a negative narrative about an innocent person? Okay, calm. It's funny. When I see stuff like this, I don't get it. I don't understand what compels someone to be this brain broken that they are trying to be like, they're so starving, so desperate for attention that they will literally do anything they possibly can. It just strikes me as so odd. It feels like you're not like a human, you know? This is like this unironically is like the opposite of how human beings should behave. Someone says social terrorist. Yeah, literally. Like, I see this as like a transparent instance of mental illness. This is socially malignant behavior.
What he would do was stalk and then ambush famous YouTubers in real life. Then he'd scream at them, ordering them to do the Mentos Coke challenge for him. He would keep following them and pestering them over and over, sometimes even for hours, until they got away by going to the train station, getting into a taxi, which he'll still follow for as long as he can, or in some cases, going to the cops. Thankfully, the police put a stop to it, which works for about 15 seconds. In one case, Hazuma spent 6 days straight lurking at the convenience store outside the house of the biggest YouTuber in Japan just so he could ambush him.
Bro, what the? What the, bro? Hey, yo, that's crazy. This is one of those instances where you're like, sometimes you just have to have a gun, I think. Hey, yo, turns out it's worse than TwitchCon. Yeah, TwitchCon, but worse. Literally, it's a TwitchCon, but the entire country is operating in that same attitude, with the same attitude. They're like, oh, you're a stalker? It's fine. What the?
I can't emphasize enough how much Hazuma is hated by every single person that has the misfortune of interacting with him. But it wasn't just streamers he would do this to. Hazuma would also force the Mentos Coke challenge on unwitting homeless people in the middle of winter.
Oh, come on, man.
After he's covered the poor homeless man and everything he owns in Coke, he follows him around and laughs at him for another 10 minutes. This is literally just assault. He's just assaulting homeless people for content. He uploaded these videos without censoring their faces, by the way. But would you believe me if I said this wasn't even the worst thing he's ever done? This is Chomage Kozo, a group of kids that run a very famous YouTube channel. In 2023, Hazuma, who was 32, tracked down this kid, Namazu, who was 13 years old, and followed him home from school.
Namazu-kun, やってきたぞ。ちょっと待ってもらっていいか。Namazu, やってきたぞ。
I can't say what should be done, but I can think it. I can't say out loud what should be done, but I'm thinking it, bro. He is, what the? Yo, I thought they were a nation of laws, man. This is lawlessness. You can just do whatever you want, apparently, in Japan. What the? They elected this man, brother. I just.
今一人。ちょっと待って。俺も変なことはせん、絶対に。
Hazuma confronts this 13-year-old kid and berates him for not replying to his DMs.
俺会いたかった。だって DM 返してくれんやん。Twitter でコラボしたいっつっても。
This isn't scripted or anything. The kid is legitimately afraid of Hezuma. Also, Hezuma uploaded this uncensored, which led to the kid's city and school being identified. Where I'm from, this would get you put on some sort of registry. But honestly, I think the kid handled it pretty well. I mean, as well as a 13-year-old can handle a 300-pound middle-aged man out of jail on probation following you home from school. And this happened in 2023. Hezuma soon realized that his talent for screaming at—
Yo, I mean, like, look. I'm not in favor of a carceral state. Also, Japan literally has a 99% prosecution rate. Like, they just force you into agreeing that you have done a crime. They'll just hold you involuntarily for days on end. Why the fuck aren't they doing this dipshit? I don't get it. No, it's not for foreigners. No, it's for everybody. What are you talking about? No, Japan has a crazy conviction rate. They do forced confessions through what other countries would consider torturous methods. Okay? But like, how the fuck do you not do that to this guy? If there's one guy that's worthy of that, it's him. You got to keep this guy in jail. That's what you got. I'm sorry. You have to put this dude in an involuntary hold in a mental facility 100% and study his brain for generations.
People was wasted on homeless people and children. He could get way more views if he just screamed at tourists. Not only that, maybe he could even exploit his image as the deer protector to get on Nara City Council. There was just one tiny little problem. The deer don't need protecting. Don't take it from me. Here's Nara's Parks Department saying they don't have any reports of tourists hitting deer, and more tourists get injured by deer than vice versa.
Yeah, deer
Think
actually,
about it.
from what I understand, the Nara deer actually people up because they've gotten so used to getting fed that they just walk up to you and bite you and demand that you feed them. I haven't been.
There are around 40,000 tourists to Nara Park every day, and Hezuma's there every day too. If even 1% of tourists were doing bad things to the deer, shouldn't Hezuma have tons of examples? He wouldn't have to freak out over a woman touching a deer with a water bottle or a guy doing shake-a-paw with the deer. No, the biggest threat to deer is not tourists, it's cars. It shouldn't be a surprise that chilling in the middle of a city and living off an unnatural diet of hundreds of rice crackers a day would be bad for wild animals. Those crackers cause the incidents between humans and deer. When you're holding them, the deer get super aggressive. I've experienced this firsthand. I remember having like 15 deer chasing me around all at once. It was a little scary and I'm a big guy. So why did Hezuma's message resonate with so many Japanese people? Take this footage of actual deer abuse Hezuma took, for example. An old man nonchalantly kicking a deer in the head. But would it surprise you to hear that Hezuma just stole this video from someone? By now, of course it wouldn't. But yes, this was filmed by a Taiwanese woman who labeled the man as Japanese. Which makes sense. I mean, frankly, this guy looks a little old for international travel. When confronted with these facts, what do you think Hezuma said? Maybe you'd expect him to say something like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that guy's probably this like old-ass Japanese dude who's like, I've been bit far too many times with these little assholes.
He does live in Japan, but he's secretly Chinese. Yes, that's exactly what he said, actually.
I told you, bro. I told you the secret Chinese and the secret Korean. Remember how I told you Japanese people, 99% Japanese, 100% of the incidents caused by secret Chinese and secret Koreans.
Believe me, this strategy is really effective. The most famous deer abuse case happened in 2024 with this guy just walking down the street and kicking every deer he passed by. Everyone in Japan immediately claimed with no evidence that this guy was Chinese. But upon closer inspection, there's a good argument that this guy's Japanese. He appears to be speaking Japanese, he's got his house keys on his belt, and the shirt he was wearing is some niche fashion brand from Tokyo. I saw a comment that was like, why did we think he was Chinese in the first place? And the reply was, well, Chinese are the ones who kick the deer. This is the pattern. There's a cycle of Japanese people assuming that a Japanese person would never do something bad. Then they witness a Japanese person doing something bad, so they come to the conclusion that the person must not be Japanese. On the other hand, Hezuma will call out foreigners for doing literally anything. Charge your phone at an outlet? You mean electricity theft, criminal scum? What the fuck? Sit in a chair? How dare you? That was a chair for children. Using his new deer protector persona, along with some other random nonsense, has
policy positions: address the foreigner problem, stop Chinese people from buying all the fresh water, block Kurdish people from moving to Nara, review a problematic railroad crossing, use his status as an influencer to promote Nara and bring visitors. Yeah, I really want to go to Nara, seeing this dipshit around with a phone camera. God damn. Also, in terms of hog universality, have you noticed something? Whatever the hog flavor of the month is in America, don't you realize whenever a major crime happens, every hog, well, no, yes, they're fat. Yes, that's one part. And they are thumb-like. That's not it. That's not what I was talking about. It's thumb-shaped. Yes. No, hog universality still holds. Whoever the flavor of the month is, one month is trans people, the other month it's the Antifa leftists. Hogs, whenever there is a major crime taking place, oftentimes done by hogs, will turn around with zero evidence and be like, well, another trans shooter, another Antifa shooter. God, the left are so out of control, don't you think? Hog universality, baby.
Hasuma actually managed to come in third place in the 2025 election and got elected to the Nara City Council on July 20th. But would it surprise you to learn that Hasuma the city councilor wasn't all that different from Hasuma the YouTuber? One of his main issues was that he claimed Chinese people had already bought up most of the fresh water in Wakayama, and we can't let that happen here in Nara. But then the head of the waterways department in Wakayama came out and completely called him out on his bullshit and said that hasn't happened at all. And now, instead of yelling at YouTubers, in his first city council meeting ever, he's gotten in massive trouble for...
Yeah, the Kurdish thing is entirely like Western developed, Western designed mania that has captivated the Japanese population, the Japanese races at least. Because like I said, first and foremost, the number one ops for the Japanese nationalists are Koreans and the Chinese, whether it be secret Korean and the secret Chinese, or just like tourists, right? Or people just like visiting. But then Westerners were like, oh, the Kurds are the Kurds are destroying Japan. And it was because there's like a tiny population of Kurds. There's a tiny population of Kurds, which I think has grown in the last couple of years, because like every time I've been to Japan, I see more doner shops everywhere. Tanıdıklarından saçma sapan Japonya'daki Kürtlere ilgili şeyler duyuyorum. There's a hierarchy besides that. Japanese people told me even first time I went there 20 years ago. I wonder if Japanese people hate the Kurds, and by old people who probably thought that much longer than 20 years, I wonder if Japanese people hate Kurds, like the Japanese nationals, because they love Turkish people and they learned to hate the Kurd from the Turks. I've talked about the Japanese-Turkish allegiance before on this broadcast. And I think Kurds can get... I think Kurds actually get refugee status in Japan. Like they can apply for refugee status. Japanese people always say they like whites more than black people, then like MENA, then Korea, and China the worst. And other Asians.
Screaming at the mayor.
Stop! あなたね、どのツアー下げて市長やってんですか?
And of course, he's still doing his deer thing, but thanks to new AI technologies, he doesn't even need to go to the park anymore. He can just make up pictures of Chinese people riding on deer. Hazuma's actions have not gone unnoticed in nearby Asian countries. He's personally raised the temperature of anti-Japanese sentiment in China to the point where Chinese tourists to Japan are explicitly warned about him before they travel to Nara. Of course, only pissing off China wasn't enough. A few months ago, Hasuma made...
They're like, if you see this tubby piece of shit bouldering down with a phone camera in hand, get away ASAP. That's crazy, bro. You're like a villain. You're like a local villain. Oh my God, Japan literally is like the Yakuza gaming series. I swear to God. Like, that's like a Yakuza side boss, dude. Are you serious? Local streaming hog, deer protector. It unironically feels like you would see that in Yakuza as a side quest. You have to take him down. Yeah, like a Mr. Shakedown, but different.
made up this story about a Korean guy feeding a deer a spicy green pepper. I'm sure you don't even need me to debunk Hezuma anymore, but I mean, come on, bro. The picture...
It's seriously bad. I realize thanks to listeners' comments that these aren't spicy green chili peppers. That Korean guy's seriously bad. It's so spicy. It's making him sick. He's going to throw up. Seriously, he should be arrested for this. Yo, this also is like schizo hog posting. It's also universal. Like fake outrage manufacturing takes the exact same tone of like seriousness, even though you are very clearly insincere. So you try to like bring it up. You try to elevate it where you're like, this is seriously bad. Guys, no, bro. The truth is Hasuma is secretly Korean. Japanese would never act like this. Oh my God.
He posted of the pepper was taken on pavement. Korean press picked up on the fake story, so he deleted the tweet, of course, but naturally, Korean people were not happy with the slander. So yeah, Hezuma has done legitimate damage to international relations between Japan, China, and Korea. The worst part is Hezuma doesn't even care if what he's putting out is true or false, he's just promoting his own brand. And unfortunately, it's worked. Hezuma's claims about Chinese people kicking deer are now being parroted by the LDP, Japan's ruling party. And they've already started passing anti-foreigner legislation cracking down on the biggest troublemakers, PhD students and entrepreneurs.
I swear to God, bro, they are... Oh my God. Everything becomes 10x funnier when you realize the Kurdish population in Japan is 2,000. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's minuscule. Oh, I forgot. Guys, when we said 1% of Japan is foreigners, what do you think? Yes. Yes. Japan is entirely Japanese. Like, it's not... Why do you think I say it's an ethno-state? They're cooked. They're cooked. And it's crazy because, like, the worse things get, the more aggro they become. I think it's much lower than 1%, to be honest. I mean, I don't... Wait, let's look at this up. Japanese foreigner population size. It says, as of mid-2025, the foreign population in Japan hits a record high to 3.9 million, which makes up about... And this was like last year, the population increased by 10% to 3.6 million, it says here. The highest number since 2013. Foreigners make up 3% of the total population. That is a record high. W ethno state? You can't be serious, right? You're memeing. You got to see how the Grey Wolf people push the anti-Kurd thing. It's hilarious. Bro, you're joking, but like, I guess they have... I mean, Turkey has a weird relationship with Japan. I've talked about this before, like the bathhouses that are now known as soaplands literally changed their names. The government made all of the bathhouses that were previously known as, I think it was known as like Turkish bathhouses, into soaplands because the Turkish government was like, please don't associate our culture and our wonderful country with prostitution. So they changed it to soapland. The Turkish government got the Japanese government to forcibly change the name of bathhouses to soaplands. I've talked about this before. Like there is a long-standing history between the Ottoman Empire all the way that spans back to the Ottoman Empire in Japan. There are some weird ideals that span across the entire Asian continent. There's this like Pan-Asian mythology that revolves around like going all the way from Japan all the way to the tip of the tip of the Ottoman Empire that designates everyone as like this big Pan-Asian group of people. You want to be Japanese so bad? No, I mean, I'm joking about that, but like I'm not joking about the historical relevance, but I'm joking when I say like Japanese people are Turks or whatever.
Anti-foreigner views have gone mainstream to the point where a growing number of Japanese people don't want any foreigners at all. The complaints are that foreigners drive up crime and overstay their visas while hogging public resources.
Again, 3%. Like, this already is a insane statement to make in places like the UK or places like the United States of America. I've spent my entire professional political commentary career addressing this common lie. Okay? But if there's one place where this lie is so laughable, it's Japan. Foreigners make up 3% of the Japanese population. 3. If you think 3% of the population is responsible for a significant increase in crimes, it's unsalvageable, bro. There are over 5 times as many Kurdish people in Nashville than in Japan.
So I looked up the data. Crime committed by foreigners is down. In fact, foreign residents actually commit fewer crimes per capita than Japanese people.
No, that's crazy.
Regarding visa overstays, they're already extremely strict and the system seems to be working. So why did Japan increase immigration in the first place? I'm sure I don't need to remind you, their population is aging and shrinking. Elderly people made up 10% of the population in 1985, 20% in 2005, and now it's 30% and still climbing. Sectors like elder care and construction already heavily rely on foreign workers to keep services running. By 2040, Japan is projected to need 570,000 more care workers. Without them, millions of elderly Japanese people will end up underserved or outright neglected.
I actually have a theory, and I think it's literally just because their politics are so boring, they have to make shit up. Oh, God. Yeah, keep in mind, most of this concentration of foreigners is in Tokyo and Okinawa because of the military base. I mean, low-key, the entirety of Japan is in Tokyo at this point. Give it another decade. It's going to be 100% of the Japanese population living in the greater Tokyo area.
Foreign workers were Japan's solution to this glaring problem. Japan's tourism industry is also really important. It's one of the few bright spots in their shrinking economy. Today, around 8% of Japan's economy is tourism, an industry supported by over 6 million employees. And Nara is even more dependent on it. Their city's economy is over 12% tourism. So if Hezuma got his way, he would devastate Nara's economy.
1 in 3 Japanese people are Biden. No, true. Oh my God. I didn't really think about it like that. That's crazy. That's actually crazy when you put it like that. 1 in 3 Japanese is Brandonized, bro. You can't have a sustainable economy or a country like that. One day people are just going to get on boats and make their way to Japan and be like, all right, this is ours now, I guess, because everybody here died because they were just too old. They were too racist to let other people in.
Before we wrap up, I have a word for my Japanese viewers who may support Hezuma. No judgment, some of my friends support him too.
What? Bro, get new friends. Oh my God. I can't think of a more unlikable person than this dipshit. This saw Johnny Somali and was like, we need to do this Japanese style. No judgment. Please judge. What's up with YouTubers, man? Every goddamn YouTuber, they have to be so nice. They have to be so nice to assholes, dude, all the time, no matter what. You described that he stalked a 13-year-old. You can say judgment, okay? All judgment for a guy who stalks 13-year-olds. This is the maximalist fence sitter position as a YouTuber. You're so scared of offending people and getting on people's bad sides that you're like, you know, guys, I know this guy stalks 13-year-olds, but honestly, no judgment if you're a fan of him. Anyway, like, don't shit on this guy for saying that, obviously. I mean, this is a great YouTube content creator. I really enjoyed this video. It was fantastic. Japanalysis, we've watched some of his stuff in the past as well on this broadcast, but like, it is kind of wild. The Hasanabi situation is crazy.
They say Japan should put Japanese people first. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with wanting your government to take care of Japanese people. There's nothing wrong with wanting safety and security. You don't want immigration, you don't want tourists, that's your right. You can shut the door if you want. But the real question is that the right call? Will it actually make your life better? I mean, I get it. You're just going about your day and there are annoying tourists everywhere nowadays. But let's be honest. Will kicking out immigrants raise wages, fix the...
Bro. Japan's population has been declining for 16 consecutive years. The number of deaths reached a record high of approximately 1.59 million, and the number of births reached a record low of approximately 680,000. Okay? It's over. Like, it's literally over. What are you doing? It's cooked. The population is declining, and it is becoming increasingly aged out of the workforce. Anyway, this guy's awesome, though. Like I said, and he fixes it at the end after saying no judgment for Hasanabi enjoyers, but like it's just like overall, this is such a gigantic issue, and it's ironic because like you can always point to Japan. You can always, when you want to talk to like a fascist about like the Great Replacement, like they're replacing us, and you know, Jews are doing unlimited population growth from the third world into this country, into this beautiful country I no longer recognize. It's like, first of all, the fuck are you talking about? This is the United States of America. There's never been a moment where there wasn't unlimited migration into this country. Hello. That's number one. Number two, look at a country that didn't do that, Japan. It's so crazy to me that you would just like literally go, no, I would rather die than be around people that don't look like me. And yes, despite the aging population, there's still mass hysteria around mass migration. It is so laughable. It is so funny.
Yen, boost birth rates, or fill your labor gaps? Will it cut crime? Will it make your life even 1% better? Over 10 years ago, I visited Japan for the first time and fell in love with it. Fairness, kindness, politeness, those are the parts of Japanese culture that people admire. So if those are your values, do you think it's fair or kind to judge the 99% of immigrants who study, work?
Japan is not US, dude. No, dog. The reason why Japan is not the US, or the reason why the United States is the way it is as opposed to Japan, is because contrary to a bunch of fascists, this country's history is comprised entirely of mass migration into it. Like, that's what I'm saying. Japan is the warning sign. Japan is what America would have looked like if the fascists actually were able to somehow maintain some semblance of like genetic purity, in air quotes. Why do you care? Japan is not the US, dude. Wait, what? Why do I care? I don't know. Why do I care about anything? Perhaps it's because it is a fundamental value that I have is as human beings are human beings, no matter where they're from, and should be treated equally, and that we will all prosper as long as we don't have these weird bigotries that hold us back. And Japan is such an extreme example of xenophobia that it's a perfect way to describe what happens when you have maximalist opinions on xenophobia, and it leads to your own demise. Call genetic purity what it is, inbreeding, is true. Yeah, speaking of, this is going to lead me into the Bernie segment today, but
pay
before I do that,
taxes
let's
and
finish
contribute
this.
to your society by the 1% who do stupid or harmful things. If you judge immigrants by the worst 1% you see on TikTok, how would you feel if the world judged Japan by the worst Japanese guy? For example, I don't know, Hasanabi? Hasanabi doesn't represent Japanese culture. He has no culture. He's uncultured. But he's Japanese, right? Do you want your whole country judged by his actions? Nobody would argue that people who go to Japan and do stupid stuff shouldn't be punished. If anyone, Korean, Chinese, or Japanese, abuses a deer on purpose, they're a psychopath and they should go to jail. I understand wanting to protect your country and your heritage, but don't do it for Hasanabi. He's only in it for Hasanabi. Do it for yourself. Make the choice.
I think it's a greater it's a greater stain on the entirety of Japan that this guy is roaming free and now has been elected in the office than his existence. Like, he's just one guy. But the very fact that this one guy is such a goddamn demon that he's caused international incidents, and instead of being thrown in permanent prison, to literally save the Japanese population as well as all the tourists. They elected him into office.
Choices that you think will make your life better. All right, hey, we're at the end, and I really want to thank my subscribers. You guys might have noticed that recently I've been making longer videos.
Okay, all right, well. God damn it, I can't make that argument ever, dude. God damn it, you're so right. You're so right. I hate you for it. And you're so right. Every day on this goddamn app, I am humiliated. Okay? Oh, so true. God, we are literally a nation of Hezumas. Honestly, like, I'm over here talking shit about Hezuma, but like, we have Hezuma as the president. And a bunch of, like, we have millions of Hezumas all around that literally elected him. God, it's so dog shit. Anyway, your current leader is agnostic on the issue of Hitler. I'm just saying.
And taking longer to make them. These videos take a lot of work. It's not like I enjoy sitting here watching Hezuma for 5 weeks straight. The thing is, this is a one-man operation. I do all original research, translation, script writing, editing.
Stop saying so is ours. I know. I just wanted to deflect. I wanted to deflect, okay? Let me have this moment. Guys, stop, okay? Stop. I know. I'm trying to deflect the attention away. We're just eating it right now. We are eating it. American leaders aren't agnostic on the issue of Hitler. It's even worse, Lamau. No, they've moved beyond a refusal to be agnostic on the issue of Hitler. They have become Hitler. We are led by the new version of Hitler. I can't say shit around these parts, man. God damn it. Hasan reaction is one of the best ones in the React channel.